to have to clip it on somewhere.
Okay, I will.
Oh my goodness. That opening scene that we have on there, it just takes me back to when I first started doing this. Not only the diet, but also being on YouTube. What an amazing, amazing time it was finding the lion diet and having it change my life. I needed that reminder today. This week has been absolute chaos. Started with, unfortunately, we lost our last 3 chickens, all thanks to a coyote crawling in underneath the fence on our coop. And man, these were the nicest chickens. They would just, man, it was like pets almost more than they were chickens. They didn't act like chickens, did they? They acted like dogs and cats or something.
Yeah, they were trained. They would come to us when we called them. They knew what time it was time to go to bed, what time to come out. So it was very heartbreaking.
But the good news is we get to be here with you guys and talk about good things. And I'm thankful to be here. Let's see who we've got in the house tonight. We got Robert Worist here from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Barry Weems is here from Georgia. Ole Kittleson is from Norway, all the way from Norway. Man, I bet it's cold up there right now. I went rucking this morning and it was 52 degrees?
It was beautiful.
My Michigander wife loves the cooler weather. I'm a Florida boy. I love it when it's warm myself. It's just so unseasonably cool in the middle of April in Florida, though. Sandy Blythe knows about it. She's here in North Florida. Jeff Schallemeyer's here, as usual. Steaks are better than cakes. I got to share it. He always put that. That's his comment every time, and I appreciate it. He makes sure to put a comment on every video, and that helps out. When people can't help out any other way, that helps out a lot. You know, the sharing and the subscribing and all the stuff I never remember to ask for because I just figure if you like it, you're going to do it. But, you know, I probably need to get better at doing that only because some of my favorite YouTube people I follow, I forget unless they ask. So it's just a reminder. I guess I need to start doing that occasionally. Kingdom Way Keto to Carnivore is here from Ontario. That's Miss Kathy. It's good to see you. She'll be on the broadcast here soon doing a carnivore conversation. Looking forward to that. We got Victoria Ortiz from Ohio. Oh, and Jeff was coming to us from Dubuque, Iowa. Let's see. Sandy, thank you for asking folks to hit the thumbs up button. I always forget. Oops, I hit a button there. Ron Ayers is here from Jacksonville. Tina Lander says hi. Eric C. is here from Colorado. So anybody who's in here today, go ahead and let us know where you're coming from. It's such a pleasure to see all of you from all around the world. And I'd love to get any questions that you have. We have had so much chaos this week. I haven't had a chance to look any up, but we can always go and do that if we need to.
I have a few on my phone too.
Okay.
I have to go get my phone though.
Well, if you want to, we can do it that way, or
Sure.
we can just look it up here, whichever is easier for you.
But also, we want to give a big shout out to Amy. You
Oh,
want to
yeah.
tell the story? You're better at telling stories than I am.
Yeah, I don't want to mention that we're not going to mention the last name, but Amy is somebody who's a member of my community that's been joining me weekly on our conference calls. And she had a really interesting story about her trip. She had to take a plane trip, and she wanted to be very careful to stay carnivore. While I bring this up, do you want to cover what happened?
No, I want you to tell the story because you're better at storytelling than me.
You do it, honey. I tell y'all, she's going to get it one day. She can talk. When she's one-on-one, she'll go. But when it's telling a story to people and she's worried about who's watching, it's a little tougher. You're going to get there, though, baby. Let me just bring up this thing where you can look up the questions. Let me go to...
So I wanted to create an award, maybe a weekly or monthly award for the most... what were we going to call it? Like the...
Carnivore hack of the month? Something like that?
Carnivore hack, I guess, but I think it should be more grand than that, a little bit more. So, for anything that you had to go through, anything hard or tough, but you found a way to fight through it and consistently stay on carnivore. So that way on the other side of it, you just like, I can do this. I can do this, because her story is amazing. It's funny. Very smart, very creative. And so Dante's going to tell you. Tell him.
All right, I found the questions, so you can have a look at some of those while we're doing that. Yeah, she told me something I had no idea, that you could carry a backpack cooler on an airplane. I figured with the way the TSA is, they confiscate everything. It seems like anything that I need to bring with me anyway. But she was able to bring a backpack cooler on the plane that she had her meat in for her vacation, and she was also able to carry eggs.
Yes.
I don't know how in the world that went by, because I can just imagine the first time somebody's eggs break in the overhead bin.
So I asked her specifically, I said, so you hard boiled them. Okay, you brought steak and hard boiled eggs. And she said, nope, we just want to make sure we had our eggs on a trip. So, woo.
She had some good pasture raised eggs, I reckon, and she wanted to make sure she could have the right food while she was there. So that was really something interesting. I had no idea that you would be able to carry something like that on an airplane. It doesn't give me a whole lot of desire to fly airplanes still, but for people who have to fly and they're trying to do a carnivore way of eating, or they're just going on vacation and you really don't have any choice, it's a great option. But Katie and I really don't like to fly for a number of reasons, and it doesn't have anything to do with fear of flying or fear of dying as much as it is lack of faith in the people who are maintaining the airlines. And also, I just hate going through the police state tactics of the TSA. It's like you're accepting these chains every time you go in there. And that's just my personal opinion. And Katie feels the same way. And I think a lot of other freedom-minded people out there feel the same way about it. Sandy says, love seeing your beautiful wife, Katie, joining in.
Thank
I
you.
told you. They love having you here, honey. I love having you here. Yep, raw eggs. That's right. She was able to get them on the plane.
So here's a cute question. What is the lion diet? I bet everybody already knows, but...
Not everybody, I'm sure. A lot of people hear it and they're like, what is he talking about? It's carnivore diet, right? He's just doing carnivore diet. Why does he call it that? Well, for those of you who aren't aware of what the lion diet is, that's the diet I've been doing for about 4.5 years. It's gotten a little dirty over time, as some lioners would call it. But the thing about lion diet is it's an elimination diet. And I started off very pure, only ruminant meats, only salt, only water, and club soda was fine because it doesn't have any other ingredients in it. It has sodium bicarbonate, which is why I burp so much. But that's the only thing that's in there. But lion diet is strictly ruminant meat, water, and salt. And the purpose of lion diet is for healing certain body problems. And typically it's related to autoimmune disorders or disorders that are similar to autoimmune disorders. Like leaky gut is not technically a disorder according to doctors. If you ask homeopathic doctors, they're going to say, oh yeah, permeated gut lining. That causes toxins to get into your system from the foods that you eat. And that would include plant foods because all plants have toxins. And those toxins normally would pass through your digestive system without a whole lot of problem, except that they're going to leave oxalates behind and a number of other things that cause these permeation holes. And it really depends, I think, on genetics for how sensitive your body is. My body has obviously been sensitive to this for a very long time.
What you were eating years and years leading up to the problem.
Yeah, I didn't change anything until I was 48 years old. And that's when the healing started. And now I'm 52. And I got to remind myself sometimes that I'm a whole different person, because sometimes on the inside, I feel like I'm still that big guy. But anyway, lion diet is, like I said, it's eliminating everything except for those clean animal meats, the salt that you need basically to give you the electrolytes that you're going to burn through very fast on a strict carnivore diet, and the water that all of our bodies need. So you find out what the problems are, or at least you find out that the problems go away. And then the idea is you should be able to add a food or two back as you're
back.
As you're looking for certain foods that are not like Snickers bars. We're not trying to bring those things back in. Clearly, those are not good for you. But some people want to be able to have some of the vegetables that they love. I don't miss them, so I don't worry about that kind of thing. But people who are doing this may want to try to add those things back. And that's what you do. You do one at a time, see how it goes for a few days, see if you have any reactions. And if you do, you got to stay away from that one, at least for a little while. because I know I brought eggs back in after a year and a half, and I found that store-bought eggs, because they're grain-fed mostly, seems to make a big difference for me, because those eggs always cause me to get a little indigestion, and they cause me to have a flush feeling in my face, like I ate something that I was allergic to. But then later on, I added pasture-raised eggs. These are chickens that are eating their natural diet, which would be they're eating bugs and their own type of meat and things like that. And the thing about eggs too is that they're very similar to ruminant animals, because of the way the chicken makes the egg is that it's very pure when it's made, but it's not exactly a ruminant animal, because a chicken is a monogastric animal.
So we have a comment that somebody left, and
inspiration. I'm lacking in willpower or a strategy or both. Mm-hmm. Can I financially afford this? Physically, mentally, I cannot afford not to try. Kudos to you. Well, I can certainly relate to finances being pressing. I'm no different than anybody else that's trying to make it through paycheck to paycheck, basically, except that I don't get a paycheck. Everything I get seems to be coming from 1,000 different directions, but it's a little here and a little there, and it's so stressful not having something steady that I don't always know what I can afford to do. So I can understand what that's like. And this was from FINNNMA about 6 days ago. Now, we've had quite a few comments come in since then. Let's see if we've got anybody in here that's had any questions too.
I just wanted to point that out, because it can, just like anything that you're trying to stick to, anything that's going to better you or better your life or your health, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be very difficult. But I agree. I cannot afford not to try.
Yeah, I think that was the thing that got Katie to really jump on board, was not just the community, but the community combined with the fact that she's just been getting sick of dealing with doctors with no solutions for anything, and just spending money on doctor visits.
I don't go to the doctor near as much as he did, because he
had
problems. I just avoided them.
Well, you deal with your mother's doctor's issues, and thankfully, at least some of the doctors did recommend she try a carnivore diet.
They said high protein. They said you should definitely stay away from all, if you can, processed sugar, wheat, all of it. They told her that she needs to stick to high protein. And when I brought up, my husband does the carnivore diet for his health, he said that would be great. So
yeah, that's pretty good. I'll take that. I'll take that from any doctor, and I'm sure anybody out there would be very happy to have a doctor who would say that would be great when it comes to a carnivore diet. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Sonia Cruz Garcia is here from Texas. What's your best? Here's a question from Clegg. Let's throw it on the screen here. What's your best way to cook experience with beef liver? Extra rare. Only with salt. That's pretty much the key for me. I never thought I would say that I like liver. As a matter of fact, I never thought I would say I could even tolerate liver.
When he started this, I remember you saying that, and you're like, I don't want to touch liver. Not yet. And then you got there.
Well, some of my youthful hatreds or phobias or whatever you want to call them, needles. I never liked needles. I got used to that. Cockroaches, only because of an incident when I was a child that kind of scarred my mind about it. And then eating liver. Those were my top three things that I just said, nope, don't want those in this life. And now liver is something I will absolutely eat if I trust the source. When it comes to organ meats, I have to get regeneratively farmed. I want to get a good quality cow. I mean, you're talking about the animal's filter, basically. And I don't want to necessarily eat the filter of an animal that's not fed properly. But that also leads me into another topic of interest, but I don't know if people want to talk about it on the live stream, because I've been kind of talking about some of the Make America Healthy movement things that have been going on with RFK and with Brooke, what's her name, Rollins, the USDA secretary. Mm-hmm. And it's tough to talk about these issues because, I mean, I'm a free market guy. I go back. I mean, I'm Milton Friedman, Ayn Rand. That's where my politics are when it comes to how things should be handled. But at the same time, we have built up a system that is, I liken it unto this. Back when I was a teenager, I bought a Camaro, and man, it would fly until I took it in to get it inspected. And they said, well, you got to put this on there, and you got to put that on there, and you got to put this on there. And I said, what is that for? And they said, it's for emissions. I said, okay, that's great. What is that going to cost? And it was like $500. Get my car back after they put all this stuff on it. Now it has no power. I'm like, what was the point of this? You just made my car not the car that I bought, you know? And I know there's arguments for emissions and all that stuff, but at the same time, you can go too far with these things. Our government situation is so far out of whack. This is something I've thought about for many years, all the way back when I used to teach history and economics to high school kids. I don't know how we could get out of the system that we've got in place, because so many people are dependent upon it.
But we were talking about liver.
Yeah, I know it. But it led back into the corn farming and the corn eating cattle and grass-fed cattle. Yes. And I love the idea of getting good regeneratively farmed grass-fed beef, but it's few and far. Most of the grass-fed beef you find out there isn't all that good, and because it's just not raised properly.
How Diane, my mother, my stepmom, how she cooks it's really cute. She loves it. She loves liver. So when we got some from Big Mo's cattle, we brought some to her, and she just gets a pan out with some butter, sears it on one side for, how long was it, minute and a half? Mm-hmm. Then flipped it, seared it for about a minute and a half, pulled it off plate, cut it up and ate it. Just like that. She loves it. So I was like, I want to try. So I thought I would like it cooked more, because in your mind you're thinking, I want it cooked. It's an organ meat. But no, you don't.
No,
nope.
It's wonderful. Mm-mm. If you overcook liver, it tastes like chalk or something. It's got this aftertaste that just ruins it completely. But yeah, I was getting into the side with the farming only because it's a heck of a mess. It's a heck of a mess they've got to work out. I was talking to a farmer yesterday. He's a small town farmer in Georgia. I'd like to get him to come on the broadcast sometime just to explain his situation.
Yeah, we want to hear it from the people who are going through it.
But it's hard for them to come out and voice their opinions about these things, because they have to be careful about the community they're in too. There's a lot of politics in farming.
Yeah.
And I can understand it, because he's hanging on by a thread. He's hanging on by a thread every year. And I asked him about things like atrazine and glyphosate and glyphosate. I always say it wrong. Glyphosate. And I said, like, what do you do? I mean, do you have to use that stuff? And he said, well, with the way things are now, if we didn't, we wouldn't be able to afford to do this. We'd have to close up shop. And I thought, well, that's another pickle, but that goes back to monetary policy. Our big problem financially is that we've been off the gold standard since the 1970s, and that just sent us down a whole rabbit hole. So
yeah, let's go back over here. Ken Jenkins. He said, I started this diet immediately after your RFK video 11 days ago. Holding up so far.
Hey.
But.
Well, I love that. I love that. Just the fact that, so that was what I was trying to be encouraging on in those videos, is that they're doing the best they can with a very multifaceted bad situation. And then, of course, they've also got very big moneyed interests that are going to be fighting them on this. And hopefully the people that have integrity are going to stick it out. I think a lot of people will get to Congress and places like that, or get into these positions, and they find out how lucrative it can be. And even people who once had integrity will walk away from it, because that power, it just corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. And hey, look, Amy's here.
Hey, Amy, we were just talking about you. Real quick, let's say congrats to, how do I get this to work?
You hit right underneath where it says add to broadcast.
Well, thank you. Let's give Sandy Blythe an awesome congratulations, because tomorrow I'm 5 months carnivore, down 60 pounds and feeling amazing. Awesome.
That is awesome.
Very encouraging. Very uplifting, encouraging news. Love that. Here we go. You want me to do it?
I'll just answer her question. She's asking if I'm doing the weekly group chat tonight. Absolutely. If you're scheduled for it, I'll be there. Mm-hmm. We are leaving town tomorrow. So it's just been a chaotic week, but nope, this is the priority. As far as what I'm doing in this life, I do have a day job. I sell insurance, life insurance. I work in 5 different states. Oh boy, is that a tough job. That is more than I thought it would be, but it's helping us get by. So thank you by the grace of God that I have that, because I wouldn't be able to make it just doing this right now. But I'm hoping that as more and more people join the community, it's not only going to help make my time more valuable, but also be able to give me more time with you guys, because I'm so spread out right now. But I love it. I love being able to come and talk about things that help people to get healthy and find out about what's working and what's not working, and all of the little tidbits I've picked up over the past 4 years and 3 months that I've been doing this. So I'm just thankful to be able to do this. I'm thankful to be able to do this and come and work with you guys. So absolutely, Amy, I'll be there.
So we were talking about liver. So let's go ahead and say Jeff, he said this I think before, but he prefers my liver to be frozen and in small pieces. I have not tried that yet. We're going to have to attempt that one day and do a video.
Somebody mentioned that in the Healing Humanity Hangout that I do on Sunday.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That they do that, and I thought that's interesting.
I'd try it though. Sure, why not? I mean, people eat sushi. So go ahead and give it a try. If you see anything, go ahead.
Mike Correlia says, finally able to watch you guys live. How fun. Dante, I started 2 months after you. Lost 52 pounds. I watch every video you post. God bless you and your family. Thank you, brother. God bless you too.
Very much.
We're so glad that you're doing well. It's just, I need those reminders. When I'm going through the week and the daily grind is grinding me down, knowing that people out there are doing better because of something that I said or something I did, I'm so thankful for that. Yeah, somebody said positivity is the only way out of a bad situation. That was Ken Jenkins. Awesome. Thank you, Ken.
Click on that real quick while we're going through so you guys can read it.
Barry Weems says, our FDA is so out of touch with the health of Americans by allowing big corporations to put chemicals in our food that is doing nothing but killing Americans. And that goes back to that principle that I say the government shouldn't have got into this to begin with. If we could go all the way back to, what was it, 1904 or what? It's the early 20th century when the FDA was started. And it was much smaller than it is now, obviously. All of these programs, they start off, they're just going to be, we're just going to make sure this, and we're going to do a little of that. And, it's not going to be a really big problem. But then it grows like a tree. And then 100 years later, you've got one of those huge oaks that grows somewhere, or a redwood tree now, of disaster that nobody can deal with. And that's true with most of these departments. So my feeling is it would be nice if we never had them to begin with. But we are where we are, and we're trying to figure out the best problems we can do, the best way to work out these problems.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the reasons why they say they got started was because milk was being, I'm going to botch this story. I'll have to go back and reread it, but they were putting something in the milk, and it was causing women and kids and everyone to get sick. Was it lye? Putting lye in the milk?
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, I read it a long time ago.
Huh.
But that was one of the reasons why I believe they started it.
Well, there's a lot of things on our food, and it's hard to know what to do. It's hard. A lot of people worry about what they're putting in the cows now too, but I guess I can only fight so many battles. I got to get my meat from where I can afford to get meat. So, and it's like I tell everyone else, if you're looking to get healthy, it's still working. And it's going to work as long as we have good ranchers out there that are raising good beef. Now, there's plenty of ranchers out there who do it a way that's not very good quality. And it's usually reflected by the price. If it's super cheap, it's probably, there's a reason. I've bought some of those steaks before that were like $5.99 a pound for ribeye at Save-A-Lot.
Yeah.
And thought, man, this is great. $5.99 a pound. That's like what it was at Publix at Easter time 4 years ago. But got it home and cooked it up. And I might as well have cooked a patent leather shoe. That thing was impossible to chew. My dogs were very thankful to have the rest of what I didn't eat of it. But yeah.
That's just funny.
Sandy Blythe says she watches my morning walks. And I know some people who watch the channel, especially people who would be here watching the live stream live, might be interested in those, where I go rucking every morning. I still share those on the Facebook group page, Ferrigno Freedom. It's the private Facebook group page. So if you're not a member of our Facebook group page, go there. And I still share them there only because those videos don't do as well with the algorithm. I know I got a lot of people out there who enjoy them, so I wanted to keep them coming for encouragement and things like that, and to press on, because every day I get up, I could lay in bed a little longer. I could skip that hour that I go walking, but it's just not worth it. It's better if I get up and do it. And every time I do it, it makes it a habit. And that discipline is just something that I haven't had in my life up until now. And I'm thankful for it. Yeah, Sandy says she watches on Facebook. I figured you did, Sandy. What else is going on? Oh, well, we got, we're talking about what's coming up. We're going to be heading to Tennessee tomorrow. Healing Humanity is doing a fundraiser. They're trying to raise money for the Carnivore movie. And that documentary, exactly. That is a very expensive venture because they want to put that on Netflix if they can, and Amazon Prime, and anywhere else. They don't want it to just be in the niche groups that it is kind of mostly in now. And, thanks to RFK Jr. mentioning putting the governor of West Virginia on a carnivore diet, it entered the psyche of a lot of people who have never even thought about it. So the timing of this documentary is going to be great. So that's one of the reasons why they're charged for those events and things like that. We don't get paid to do any of that. We're driving all the way up there just to participate so that we can help support not only the movie being made, but support the people who come and want to see the stories and to be a part of what we're doing. Because
and ask questions. There was a really great panel, and people were raising their hands, asking questions, a lot of good ones, a lot of tough things, and that's why it was so good to see. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot his name.
Dr. Kiltz?
And Dr.
Nelson?
Yep.
Dr. Ovadia? They were all there at the last one.
Yep. Dr. Nelson was answering a lot of questions. Ovadia too. So it was just good, just good for people to get FaceTime and ask questions. I mean, that was beautiful.
And Dr. Ken Berry is going to be at this one. This one's in Yuma, Tennessee, Sunday the 13th, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the 13th is Sunday, and it's going to be an all-day thing. I'll put a link in the description if there isn't one there now. I think I have one in there now, but I'll make sure that it's in there after this live stream is over for that event if you are in that Tennessee area and you want to join us this Sunday.
And someone was asking about the Boston one too. So if they want to know about the Boston one.
Well, if it's being sponsored by Healing Humanity, then you could go to healinghumanity.movie and you can find out more about all of their upcoming events.
Mm-hmm. Yep. The super hyped up documentary.
Charger Mopar says the super hyped up documentary. Yeah, I'm going to tell you, man, Carrie has a gift for getting things done that he needs to do. I never could have got a documentary started. That just wasn't in my world of thinking. I don't know how he does it, but I'm glad that he's doing it because somebody needs to get it out there. Kevin Aviles is here from Puerto Rico. I guess I pronounced his name right.
So there was a question that I cannot find, but there is a gentleman right here. His name is Carnivore Frank. I wanted to read this to you. I've been overweight since about 6-8 years old. Around 1964, I remember eating cereal every morning, breakfast, Fruit Loops, and Frosted Flakes. And I was coming home to mayonnaise sandwiches for snacks before dinner. I ate a lot of processed foods and junks, and bread at every meal and snacks after every dinner. And his name is Carnivore Frank now.
Yeah, I guess that means he's making some changes. I wish he'd have told me a little more because I put a reply to that. I said, how are things now? That was 5 days ago. Mm-hmm. And he hasn't been able to reply back. So if you see that, Carnivore Frank, go look up your comment. We'd love to hear back from you on that.
We want to know the rest of the story.
Because that sounds like my childhood right there, except for it was 1977. And I remember seeing all that stuff. And look at if you go to the grocery store now and walk down the cereal aisle, the names of what the foods are, the like it'll say chocolate covered waffle cakes or something like that. Mm-hmm. They'll come up with all kind of crazy stuff. And what does this do to our kids' minds? I have to fight with my 17-year-old and my 14-year-old all the time because they think I'm just being nuts about it. Like I'm overdoing it or I'm overblowing it. but I'm trying to save them from the health problem that they're going to have later on. We didn't know about this until 4 years ago. So, I mean, they grew up with that too. And if you don't have a reason why to change and you're addicted to this stuff, which is very easy for that to happen because they're formulated to be addictive. It's just about impossible to get somebody to change if they don't have that come to Jesus moment.
For me, I think it is the price of a cereal box. When you walk down the aisle and you see how expensive a family-sized box of cereal is, might as well just buy a steak or a roast.
Amy just gave us a challenge.
What'd she say? I love Miss Amy.
Would love a sneak peek behind the scenes of your trip, meals, connections, etc. We're going to have to record more.
Okay.
That's okay. We used to do that. I used to do that when we were traveling. It's just I've been so regimented lately.
I actually did do some recording on my way up to North Carolina. It never got posted. It never got shown. But I actually did because I stopped at a Fuddruckers.
Let me fix that for you.
Fuddruckers for my first time, and I fell in love with it. And I told you guys about that. And I did some other really good things. It was just tournament day. I had to drop the ball, otherwise I was going to pass out. But I just didn't want to share it because I felt like I let myself down. But I felt like I did good, considering what I had to deal with. But I was like, scrap it, because it's easy for me to do that. Dante's a little bit better about, all right, give it to me so I can get it. But I just won't give it to him. I just don't give you the videos. So, yeah. Yeah. Well, what are we bringing up there? That's what she's asking.
Well, the plan is to bring the air fryer.
Absolutely.
And just, because I want to make sure I got something that I can cook with that I'm comfortable with. And I'm bringing my Dreo Chef Maker. Mm-hmm. So that's still a mainstay for me. I need to get that stainless steel rack that they make for it now. That's a cool thing I didn't know until a few weeks ago, that they actually do make a stainless steel grilling rack to go in there. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to bring a few. I got some ribeyes. I got a few New York strip steaks. Mm-hmm. We're just about out of burger. So I'm just going to keep what we got here of that and take a few steaks with us. And we may have to buy one or two while we're up there too.
And I'm buying eggs because I know right now up in the Albany area where we're going in Georgia Thursday, the price of eggs is a little bit cheaper than it is here. So I'm going to save the eggs for the kids and my mom. And then I'm bringing the rest. I'm going to buy some when we get up there, and we're bringing our cooler so that we have some to travel with. So I will have eggs, and I'm going to make a whole bunch of hard-boiled eggs Thursday night. A whole bunch there because we're going to stop and get some.
Yeah, we'll be driving. It's about an 11-hour drive one way. We're going to do the first part in 2 stops, and the last part we're going to try to make it in one shot. That used to be very easy for me. I could drive 1,000 miles in one shot and be exhausted when I get there, but I don't know if I could do that anymore. My body the circadian rhythm is locked in. When it gets to be about 9, 10 o'clock, my body says, okay, it's time to go to sleep. Yeah, 8:30. If I push through it, though, I stay awake till midnight, and then it's a rough morning. But for the most part, man, when it's time for me to go to sleep, I just hit the pillow now.
So, so Amy, we're not being really super prepared carnivores over here, but we're planning on picking stuff up on the way and hopefully find, what was that in Albany? They always had good prices. Was it Sam's Club? Mm-hmm. So I wanted to go shopping in Albany because the prices seem a bit cheaper there than they are here right now.
I don't know if they would be different at a major discount store like that, but it's possible.
Well, they also have a Harvey's, and Harvey's is kind of like the brother to Winn-Dixie.
Well, they got bought out by Food Lion, I think. So they're not even Harvey's anymore. They always
go back and forth. Like they can't make up their mind. It's Food Lion for 2 years and it's a Harvey's for 2 years. So, yeah, I want to do shopping up there in hopes that it's a little bit cheaper. I know the egg prices were, so I'm hoping on the meat prices as well. And we will be staying with, should we bring the crock pot too? Because we could always get a chuck roast and throw it in the crock pot.
It's a possibility. We
have to think about. Thank you, Amy.
It's just, we're trying to travel as light as we can too, so that's the only reason I hesitate to say yeah on that one.
Why? We have a vehicle.
I know.
Bring the crock pot. Bring the air
Okay.
fryer.
All right.
Bring it all so we have to go without. Well, I'm sure Carrie's going to have stuff. But we can have our own just to make sure.
Michelle was responding to something. She said, right, I feel so guilty about how I fed my kids, but we didn't know any better. And now they're feeding my grands the same way.
Yeah.
Yep, we didn't. I mean, it's all you can do is pick up where you are. Every time, no matter what you were doing wrong before, you can either keep doing the wrong thing or you can say, all right, from now on, I'm on the right path. And of course, if the rest of the world is on the wrong path, that's a little bit of a tough path, but hey, life wouldn't be fun if it wasn't a challenge, right?
Well, especially if you have your grands over with you. You know, you can feed them those good meals while they're with you and introduce it to them and just kind of talk to them about, hey, these eggs are super healthy for you and they're good, you know? It's difficult. And even if someone knows something's good for them, sometimes it doesn't make any sense. We don't care. I think that's
there's a self-destructive nature in all of us. Some people's is stronger than others.
I'm having a hard time with that chocolate ice cream. I'm telling you guys, I'm having such a hard time with it. I had 2 scoops about 2 days ago. I was craving it. I was craving it so hard. 2 scoops satisfied me. Now I'm back on doing good, but it's like every 7 days, it just hits me really hard. And I just feel like I can't say no. So Dante might have to lock me in the house for a week.
Well, I can tell you one thing. I was talking to another young lady who's in our group meetings, and she was talking about for a year she just was never able to get a full weekend without making a mistake, and then she wouldn't see the benefits because she's just knocking herself out of ketosis every time. And after just a couple of weeks of talking, and I gave her some exercises to try that would help you mentally to be able to overcome these things. And last time we spoke, she made it the longest she's ever made it so far. And she has, as far as I know, she hasn't made a mistake yet. So I'm hoping for the best for her. And I know that if she can do it after a year of trying, after just a little bit of coaxing in the right direction, that you can do it too, baby.
Yes. And that's why I need to hear from you guys. I need to hear stories. I love listening. I used to read a lot. I haven't read in a while. Where I like biographies, and we have documentaries. I like people's life story. So I really love hearing from people and testimonies. It really encourages me. Maybe you're the same way, but that really boosts me. And I just need to kick myself in the butt when that happens, or run really far away, one or the other. Okay, I want you to read this one right here.
The one that Courtney Roy just put? Yeah, I was going to. All right, it says, hello from Louisiana. Watched you for inspiration and hopped on January 3rd of this year. My start was 285 pounds, and as of 3 days ago, I'm at 226. Feeling great and have about 30 left. Man, that is fantastic. That's almost the same weight I was when I started. I don't know exactly what my weight was, though. I just know it was in that 275, 285 range. I can fluctuate 10 pounds of weight in a week very easily, back then and now. It's amazing. If I eat anything I shouldn't, it just pops right back. Let's see what else we got.
That's awesome, though. Congratulations.
Yes, absolutely.
So encouraging.
Michael Stewart says he just got one of those infrared grills, the $1,500 degree grills. Can't wait to try it. Yeah, I need to get back out there and do mine too. It's just so many times I'm rushing to get something to eat between whatever I'm doing and what I've got to do next. I still don't even get to that one. Even though it'll cook it, the steak in 3 minutes, it does take a bit more cleanup than the air fryer does. And I can just set it, forget it, get back to work, hear it beep, go eat, come back to get to work.
Oh, wow. Check this out. This is fun. Sandy Blythe. Everyone, on Dr. Kilt's Live at 5 a.m. tomorrow, they are giving away 10 tasty air fryers. Please try to make it. Absolutely. That's awesome.
That's nice because that's, around $159, I think, on sale. Normally about $200.
Yeah, that'll save some money for someone who's really committed,
And the Tasty Air Fryer does a decent job. I mean, it's less expensive, but it's also got something that a lot of people like. It's got the ceramic coating as opposed to the PTFE, which I think they're both in the same kind of category, but I know there's a lot of carnivores out there who don't feel that way, that none of these things are the perfect solution. There's really no cooking solution that's perfect. Even stainless steel is going to get chromium and nickel. Cast iron's going to have flakes of iron. And sometimes you got stuff that doesn't come off the plate if you clean it like I do. That's one of the reasons I don't do a lot of cast iron. But I know some people who are great with cast iron. Charger Mopar says I need to cook on an engine. My engine's not clean enough to cook on, I'll tell you that. I bet yours is, though, with a name like Charger Mopar.
What I like about the Tasty real quick is that it's compact. I could totally see someone living in a small apartment or even in an RV, because remember how we lived in an RV for a while? Mm-hmm. You're staying in a smaller area, but you want to stay consistent, eating high protein, and you want it to be sufficient. I could see using one of those absolutely for that.
I actually started making a video yesterday comparing them again just to show the difference, because we had these two big porterhouse steaks and I wasn't sure they were going to fit in either of them, let alone the Tasty, because the Tasty is a 1/2 inch smaller in both directions from what I've been able to tell. And I thought it's not going to make it. But I tried the larger one, which was 2 pounds, 2 ounces, and the smaller one, which was 1 pound, 14 ounces. And they both fit and they both cooked up fine. So even though they have a small footprint, they can cook a big steak.
So here we go. Can you read this?
I find Aldi has the lowest prices I have found on eggs and meat. I know that's where Katie gets a lot of her eggs that she likes to eat. Mm-hmm. I just can't eat the unless they do have pasture raised eggs though. But up until recently, I haven't needed any because our beautiful chickens were doing such a good job. It was like they were out there working hard every day, making a nice fresh egg. And sometimes they'd have double yolk. Man, I'm so brokenhearted about those chickens. I never thought I would be attached to a bunch of outside birds like that.
Absolutely.
They were my ladies, man. I'd go out there and it was like they would greet me in the morning, and I'd let them out and they'd follow me all over the yard for a minute just in case I was going to bring them something else to eat. And
Dante goes sit on the back porch just to get some sun, and they'd show up. That's what they do.
I didn't like when they would hang around on the porch and poop all over the place where I keep my...
They weren't too bad at it, though. They weren't really bad at it.
It's funny, they were pecking on the window.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it was just a week ago. I'm brokenhearted about that. I can't talk about the chickens anymore.
I know. They were our babies. They were old. I mean, not that helps, but they were older hens. They weren't young.
Yeah.
So, but still,
this is not the way I wanted to see them go.
No.
Yep. That's one of the good things about raising animals, is though at least that most of these animals would have no existence in the wild. They would be destroyed on a regular basis. At least when these ones were kept safe for a few years.
Yeah.
And they enjoyed their life. They were very happy chickens.
Mm-hmm. So here we go. I'm gonna put this up for you guys to read. Charger Mopar, is that how I read that? Mm-hmm. Am I the only one who finds ice cream disgusting? Maybe you are. Because
it used to be a tough one for me too. That I would say of sweets, that was my favorite. Was ice cream. I preferred vanilla. So she's a chocolate girl, and I was a vanilla guy.
Yeah.
It's kind of like our personalities in a way, which is really funny. Yeah. We didn't realize how different we were until we took Jordan Peterson's personality test a few years ago, and it's like, wow, we see the world very differently. Yet we get along so well. I guess that opposites attract thing helps. Now, we both have the same, seems like viewpoints on government and personal freedom and stuff like that. So that helped a lot. Where's the beef says, I want ice cream.
Well, we have that ice cream maker thing, and I am so dense. I went to the store planning to get some cream to make it for the home. So when I have that craving, I can make Kiltz's ice cream. That's my plan. You know what I mean? The problem is I'm always out in town when I want it. So I figure if I make it here, I can, when I come home, I'll have my steak, have my little bit, and be on my way. Then I won't crave it. Mm-hmm. That's my plan. I really need to kick this. And I'm struggling with it. So I'm trying to create a plan to attack.
Something Sharon had said that I just mentioned there was heavy cream hurts your gut. as in Kiltz's ice cream. I have that same problem. Unfortunately, I tried, Kiltz made the ice cream himself, and it was interesting to be able to try it that way, but I had the same problem. It just hurt my gut.
It doesn't hurt mine.
What we did try was, you tried some of those milkshake products that one of those companies made. I don't want to mention the company because they make some good products, but a lot of these companies make a lot of products you need to stay away from. If it's got extra ingredients in it, you've really got to be an ingredients hawk, even for a lot of these carnivore companies and things like that. I mean, the reason why I like Carnivore Bar and Carnivore Crisps, 3 ingredients: grass-fed beef, Redmond real salt, and water. You know, I couldn't personally ask for more. But you've got to watch out for those ingredients. There's a lot of companies that are selling a lot of extra things. Companies that I like Redmond salt. I like their smoke salt. I like their Relight if it's unflavored. But I won't touch the flavored kind myself because I don't want those extra ingredients. Not only do I not want them, but they affect me negatively. So I'm trying to avoid the extra heartache of bringing that stuff back into my system.
And that's where everyone's different too. You know, some people have some people can't have broccoli because it kills their guts, or lettuce, or I knew someone who
those things either.
Had watermelon and it inflamed their gallbladder. Like, there's just some things that some of us can't have. And for me, my problem, this is my crux, is I'm craving it so strong. Dairy. I am craving milk and or ice cream. Those 2 things. And I'm just started taking a supplement for D, and I'm taking like a Bioflex kind of vitamin. It's not Bioflex, but similar to that for my bones, and hoping to
glucosamine and chondroitin.
Hoping to maybe fill that need that my body wants, but without the sugar. So I'm trying to figure out what it is. You know, it's just a game we play with figuring out our bodies, but because I don't want to crave it. That's the thing. If I don't crave it, I won't eat it. I just got to get there.
I used to be a supplement guy back before I did carnivore diet. I was eating all the standard American diet. I must have had 30 different bottles of something that we were taking at one time. And now I'm down to iodine and vitamin D, and that's only because those were low in me. Like they're low in a lot of people, whether they're eating the carnivore diet or the standard American diet or a vegan diet. Most people are low in iodine unless they're getting a high source of iodine from, say, seafood or kelp or something like that, which kelp is not really a plant. It's actually an animal or a creature of some kind. I forget what they call it. But I'm not an expert on kelp. But anyway, my point is...
Manatees eat that?
Yeah. But it's like not really something that grows like a plant, but it looks like a plant. I don't understand how it works, but I don't eat any of that either. So I supplement iodine and I supplement vitamin D only because probably years of eating a bad way made my skin not able to absorb and synthesize the sunlight to vitamin D like it should. So I supplement, and I'm 52 years old. So, I mean, that has a little bit to do with it too.
So Stephanie Smith, I want to say thank you. Maybe I will try that. I'll post it for you guys to see it, but should I make Kilt's ice cream and cocoa powder and allulose? I don't, she says, which lowers
glucose on your continuous glucose monitor.
Right. Which I don't have a monitor, but that's awesome. But I could see doing it and maybe mixing a little cocoa powder and just having it like a bitter ice cream. I might try that. Without adding anything to it. I'll take bitter ice cream. I'll try that maybe to wean myself off. I need to do something because it's getting me.
Stop eating it.
Yeah, it's easy to say, right?
Easy to say.
Oh, yeah, just stop eating that. Yeah, how'd that work for you?
Yeah, it didn't work out too good. I still had ice cream occasionally, but not once a week when I started or anything like that. But it came back
like
in.
Once a year, maybe?
Well, yeah, it was like that. Well, when my stepfather died, I remembered that I was really down about that, and it was one of those emotional feed me moments, and I ate like a whole thing of ice cream that time. Boy, did I regret it. That's the last time I've had ice cream.
That was over 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that now.
And with the exception of Kilt's ice cream, that's the only other ice cream. And I did taste that stuff you made with that product mix, but I was like, oh, no, not for me.
That's because they had too much salt, and I told them not to. I said, don't. Oh, that, yeah.
Salt made it better to me.
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. Yeah, I just got a headache from that stuff. it was a mix, like an ice cream shake mix, and you're supposed to add the powder, blend it all up. I had about 5 drinks of it, and I started getting a migraine right away, so I put it down. I can't do it. No, not good.
Yeah, I haven't. Something that Rick said, Charger Mopar Rick, he was responding to somebody else, but it is nice when you get to that point. It takes a while for some people to get to where they only crave the meats, because when I'm thinking about something to eat, that's what I'm thinking about. The biggest problem that a lot of people run into is the easy accessibility of foods that you used to eat for emotional purposes that are there because other people you live with are in the house and they're still eating that stuff. And that easy accessibility can cause you to make a impulse decision. And I know that I've been very impulsive in my life. So this is another thing that carnivore has been able to help me do, is bring in some of that impulsivity so that it's not causing me to make bad decisions like I used to, not just in food, but in other areas. Just general impulsivity can make you make bad decisions.
Well, also, I'm not craving meat. I get up wanting steak. In the evening time when I'm hungry and I'm coming home from working out, I want a steak. It just kind of catches me sometimes during the middle of the day, about 2 days out of the week, that craving hits. And I had some chicken the other day, because I'm not completely restricting myself, but I didn't like it. I wanted steak, but it was ready and it was cooked and it was meat, so I was gonna take it. But that's funny that my taste buds are changing to where other meat is subpar.
Bill Cook brings up something that we talked about with Malia at the Institutional Health Foundation, I think it is. I don't remember the name of the foundation. But sugar carbs addiction is real and may last up to 2 years from what she's been learning, or he's been learning. And yeah, Malia had pointed that out, that if all of that bacteria is still in there, if you just got a little tiny bit of it, you give it enough to live off for a couple of years with about a teaspoon or half a teaspoon amount can give that enough for that bacteria. And as long as that bacteria is in there that's craving that's what's making you crave it. It's not really you. It's something inside your gut. It's another little creature, those millions of microbes that we have that send that request, like, this is what you want. And that's where those cravings come from a lot of times, is right there. And when they're alive, they do mess with your head.
Is there something to the woman thing, though, too, craving dairy at a certain age as women get older? Because I've never drank milk. I was never a milk drinker as a kid. I didn't get lots of cereal when I was a kid. We didn't have that in our house. I thought it was special when I got to my dad's house and we get Fruity Pebbles. That was a big treat. So I never had that. And I heard some of the ladies talking about it. At a certain point in a woman's life, they might start to crave dairy. Just from the loss of, as you get older, you start to lose nutrients and vitamins. So
I just figured, I speculate that would be the case, but according to Grok, there's no definitive scientific evidence that women universally crave dairy as they age. Cravings are highly individual and can be influenced by a mix of physiological, psychological, and cultural factors. Very good point on those 3 different things. It's not all just what's going on in your body. That said, some theories might explain why dairy could become more appealing to some women over time. And then it goes into a whole bunch of stuff about hormonal shifts.
Right. Yeah. Hormonal shifts right there.
And that's what I figured, is that hormonal shift that starts to happen as you get a little older.
Calcium and vitamin D found in dairy become more critical for bone health.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, we all know that.
And my knees have been starting to hurt in my wrist.
So it could be a physiological urge that's causing that, since you haven't had that one before. Whereas if it was psychological or cultural, it would have been something you already did on a regular basis, probably.
I quit drinking soda, right? About 2 years ago. Quit drinking soda. But every once in a while I'd have a ginger ale because I'd be like, I want a little something refresher. But when I stopped, it wasn't really that hard for me to stop. I'm like, okay, I got club soda and salt. You know what I mean? So I'm not craving ginger ale. I'm not craving I'm eating the meat just fine. I'm not craving vegetables. I'm just craving the dairy. So, I don't know.
I will say that I tried to get her to she'd already cut out the soda, but she treated ginger ale like it was in a separate category. And I said, it's the same thing. It's still high fructose corn syrup and citric acid and all that stuff that doesn't need to be in the ingredients of something you're drinking, especially when it comes to something with sweet flavors. If it had sugar, actual sugar or high fructose corn syrup in it, because liquid sugar is like far more addictive than even eating it for some reason.
Oh, this one's interesting right here.
I did a big time deep dive on air fryers. Many use bad nonstick coating on the inside of the units. The healthiest one I could find was by New Wave. I guess it must have had a stainless steel or something like that. Yeah, well, and some of those, the nonstick coating is very poor quality. I've seen on some of them, and it's like if you don't replace the pan in there first thing, then if you got to replace it, it's like, what's the point? That's the one thing I can say about the Chef Maker is that it's held up. It hasn't had any chips or scratches in the material, and I've been using it for close to 2 years now. I'm amazed that I've had an air fryer for 2 years. The first 3 we had,
yeah.
The first one we had before we started the carnivore diet, but we never used it for anything. And then one day I threw a steak in there and said, what in the world? I had it done in 13 minutes. I thought this is fantastic. They aren't as good as the way I make them now because they get extra crispy and they're perfectly cooked to the right temperature. But just discovering the air fryer, and then that one didn't last very long because it was too small. But then when we got another one, it was a Power XL unit, and less than a year. And I felt like I had to throw it out because I didn't know you had to clean the inside area all the time. And that's a little bit difficult. And I'll be honest, I'm lazy about it. I just don't have time to do all that extra cleaning. I clean the pot out every time and spray it out so that it's ready to go for the next cook, because I hate opening an air fryer and finding it dirty from the last time somebody cooked in it. But
yeah, he'll scream.
Yeah, but none of the air fryers lasted a year. The Power XL models I had, heck, even what was that device I got for a little while? The Cinder Grill, which was like a double flat iron type of thing, which I loved it at first, but it didn't hold up over time. When I tried to cook on it after a few months, the meat would not separate, and it was making a mess and causing problems. That was a $400 investment into something that didn't last but a few months.
Thank you, Sandy. I did have some this week. Absolutely. I brought some with me, and it did help. I had 2 hard-boiled eggs and about 5 strips of bacon. I threw them in my bag and took them with me. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. So good. Ooh.
We got a couple minutes left. Let's see if we got any.
I wanted to see. Nope. Let's try this one. Read it.
Dr. Barry says milk products have a chemical to addict the calves, which make you addicted to. Makes sense. I went through a dairy kick.
I know, it's just so weird to me that I've never drank dairy. I was never a dairy person. I never poured a glass of milk and drank it. I didn't like cereal. Well, I didn't have it a lot. I don't know. It's just strange to me.
When I was working at UPS back in 2022 over the holiday season, great job. Just didn't last long enough to keep paying the bills. They'd give me 2 hours a week after the holidays. I loved the exercise of being there, but I got into drinking milk around the end of December, and I thought, well, I'll give it a try. It's whole milk. It's animal, right? You know, I was making all the justifications I could to say that I can try this. Just totally didn't even let it register in my brain. Lactose, ose, that's sugar. I was bringing sugar back into my life, and boy, was it addictive. It took me a couple of months to kick that habit.
So what about kefir?
Oh, I hear a lot of people swear by it. Most of the stuff that I see in the store is flavored or has berries in it or something like that.
Yeah,
but I guess you can get it where it doesn't have those things. But I don't see a reason to add anything else unless it actually has some benefits that would help me. Bill Knott's here, all the way from Alaska.
Hello. Do you want to read this last one?
Sure, what does it say? Barry Weems says, I was taking supplements too until I heard Dr. Kim Barry talk about the ancestral supplements. Now I take them and wow, the difference I feel by taking them over the others I was taking.
Apologize. Let me put it back up there.
Ancestral supplements. I wasn't aware of that. I do watch some of Dr. Barry's stuff, but I don't watch a whole lot of YouTube anyway because I'm usually so busy. The only stuff, most of the stuff I watch on YouTube is what you see me watching on YouTube, with the exception of some of the stuff maybe I watch what's going on with Joe Rogan, or a lot of church stuff I watch on there too. But for the most part, there's not a whole lot of anything I watch. I do try to check out other people's live streams and support the other carnivores out there. I'm just so busy all the time. My goodness, it's 6:01 already. These hours go by so quickly. Ben Binkman endorses the use of allulose. That was something that I mentioned allulose in an old video, and I thought, why add it? But I'm getting a lot of positive information about it, and the fact that it doesn't raise blood sugar may be a good option for some people. I feel like if it has sweet in it, it's going to make me crave more sweet.
Yeah, it's very
But
possible.
that one supposedly doesn't. That's what they say. So
I'm gonna give it.
If it'll help you to do ice cream and not get
Just
out of
away.
ketosis and all that, we'll have to check your ketosis and blood sugar and stuff and see how it affects it.
Yeah, but just so I can back away from it.
Figured we don't mind hanging around for a few minutes here just to check out to see if there was any more.
Kids have date night tonight, so.
Oh yeah, that's right. You got to go. So, all right. Well, I guess we'll just keep it to the normal hour. What is that? Dante, I totally understand. I lost both parents in less than 6 months last year, and it totally wrecked my willpower. I resorted to snacking and even fell off the wagon a day or two around each death. Michelle, thank you for that understanding, and I'm sorry for your loss.
I know that it's so hard because you want to grieve, and we take it out on ourselves when we grieve. It's like, what do people usually do when they're grieving? They usually go drinking, right? They drown their sorrows. It's like, oh, that hurts you. That destroys you. And it's like we feel so destroyed. We want to physically destroy ourselves. I think that's just, that's a cycle. And sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I just saw somebody had one. Since we're fixing to end, I got to be able to include the one super chat we got today. Have followed your channel from almost day one. Appreciate your effort to stay on YouTube to keep it up. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you so much.
It is a labor of love more than it's something that is financially rewarding. It does bring in a few dollars here and there, but it's a labor of love. That's what it comes down to. And thank you for that. I appreciate that. Appreciate that support too. Well, I guess that's a good place to end it. I appreciate all the comments. I wish I could have got to all of them. I didn't realize how many had come through while we were covering some of the old ones. But, and I do agree with this. We'll end with this. Bill Cook said, I believe Dr. Barry is trying to help anyone. Not, what did it say? Not just carnivore.
Yeah.
And that's where I am too. As much as I love the lion diet, as much as I think it could help a lot of people who aren't going far enough, I'll take what I can get. If I can get people on board with getting healthy, one step at a time, a few small steps to build up to it, whatever it takes, because I know it's going to be different for everybody, and it's not an easy transition, especially if you live with people who are eating all those other foods. So we'll end it with that. Thanks for being here, guys. It was such a pleasure to have you once again, and we'll be back next week to hopefully we'll have a video come out showing some of those behind the scenes things that went on this week too. Guys, it was a wonderful pleasure.
Thank you, everybody. If you can hear me, just want to say thank you. I appreciate you guys showing up to sit and chat with us about this stuff.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
If we pay extra, could we maybe get some grease or fat?